Hi all! Welcome to the Success Club. I am now at chapter 14, helping the customer to buy. From the book Selling Things by Orison Swett Marden. Sponsor of this video, mynewskin.nl. Check it out, awesome health and beauty products. So let's get started. Satisfied customers are a perpetual lip-to-lip advertisement. Help your customer to buy. Don't merely sell to him. A Quaker merchant who had made a fortune in Liverpool, when asked how he had made it, replied, "By a single article of trade in which everyone may deal who pleases. Civility." This self-same article of trade has been the making of the celebrated Bon Marché in Paris. The clerks in this famous establishment are instructed to show people whether customers are not every possible consideration. Strangers in Paris are invited to visit the Bon Marché and are taken in hand the moment they enter the store by those who can speak their language, are shown over the whole place and every possible attention paid to them, without the slightest influence being brought upon them to purchase. A similar courtesy is shown visitors in many well-known American concerns. It is the service we are not obliged to give that people value most. Everybody knows that the salesman is supposed, at least, to treat the customer decently. But the overplus of service, the extra courtesy and kindness, the spirit of accommodation, the desire to be obliging, the patience and helpfulness in trying to render the greatest possible service. These are the things customers appreciate most highly, and these are just the things that tie customers to certain houses. Whether you are a traveling salesman or selling things behind a counter, nothing will add more to your success than the practice that helpful courtesy, which is dedicated or dictated by the heart rather than the head, or by mere convention. Doing a customer a good turn has proved the turning point in many a career. Nothing will make such a good impression upon an employer as the courtesy of an employee who has so ingratiated himself into the hearts of his customers, and so endeared himself to them that they will always seek him out and wait to buy from him, even at a great inconvenience to themselves. Every employer knows that a clerk who attracts trade is worth 10 times as much as one who drives it away. It is said that when John Wanamaker went into business, he paid a salesman $1,300 the first year, which was equal to all the rest of his capital. He did this because of the man's wonderful personality, his ability to attract trade, to please and hold customers so that they would come again. I know a man who has built up a big business largely because he is always trying to accommodate his customers, to save them expense, or to assist him in buying things which he does not carry. Today, our large business houses make a great point of pleasing customers, of obliging them and catering to their comfort in every possible way. Waiting rooms, reading rooms with stationery, attendants, and even music and other forms of entertainment are furnished by many of them. There is a premium everywhere upon courtesy and good manners. They are taken into consideration in hiring employees just as much as general ability. Great business firms find it is impossible to carry on extensive trade without the practice of courtesy, and they vie with one another in securing the most affable and most obliging employees possible in all departments. They look upon their employees as ambassadors representing them in their business. They know that they cannot afford to have their interests jeopardized by objectionable, indifferent clerks. They know that it will not pay to build attractive stores, to advertise and display their goods, to do everything possible to bring customers to them, and then have them turned away by disagreeable, repellent clerks. Many young men going into business seem to think that price and quality are the only elements that enter into competition. There may be a store of other reasons why customers flock to one store. So there may be a score of other reasons why customers flock to one store and pass by a dozen half-empty stores on their way. Many people never learn to depend upon themselves in their buying. They do not trust their own judgment, but depend upon the clerk who waits on them. A clerk who knows his business can assist a customer wonderfully in a very delicate way, by suggestion, by his knowledge of goods, of qualities, of fabrics, of durability. The courtesy and affability of clerks in one store pull thousands of customers right past the doors of rival establishments, where the clerks are not so agreeable or accommodating. Everybody appreciates courtesy and an obliging disposition, and the personal interest goes a great way in attracting and holding customers. Most of us are willing to put ourselves to some trouble to patronize those who show a disposition to help us, to render us real service. What is true in regard to the man or woman who sells in a store applies with equal or even greater force to the man who goes on the road to sell. The motto of a well-known salesman, "Help your customer to buy, don't merely sell to him," is one that it would pay every salesman to adopt. Put yourself in your customer's place. Help him with your knowledge of what he really needs. Mix sympathy, kindliness, helpfulness with your sales. You can give him a lot of valuable points. You are traveling all the time and constantly coming in contact with new ideas. Give him suggestions from other merchants in his line. A wide-awake progressive salesman without violating confidences can help his customers wonderfully by keeping them posted on what his competitors are doing, on the latest ideas in his line, the new and original methods. You may know of some novel and striking methods of reaching the public, of displaying merchandise and arranging store windows, or of reaching customers through unique local advertising. Give your customer every suggestion you can. You may see that he is a good businessman in many respects, but seriously lacks something which you could help him to supply. If he finds you are always trying to help him, that every time you come around, you give him some good suggestions, it will be pretty hard for your competitor to get his order. He will prize a man who gives him helpful suggestions. For instance, a salesman I know who travels for a cutlery and hardware concern makes a specialty of keeping his customers posted as to the arrangement of goods to the best advantage in window display. He keeps track of the latest ideas, new wrinkles in his line, and gives his customers the benefit of them. If he sees that any of them are getting into ruts or that they do not have good business systems, very tactfully, without offending them, he suggests certain new devices, say, for saving expense, little shortcuts in business methods, new ideas in filing cabinets, or some other labor or time-saving device which it will be to their advantage to adopt. In this kindly, unobtrusive way, the man binds his customers to him by bands of steel, so that no other salesman would have any show whatever in getting them away from him. He has built up such a large patronage for his house that rival houses have made him most tempting offers for his services. The extra service for which he is not paid does more in helping his man to get and hold customers than the actual routine for which he receives his salary. Businessmen who are at a distance from the big centers of trade fully realize that this extra service means to them and are glad to keep in touch with a helpful, up-to-date salesman. I know a successful merchant who is so afraid that his business will get into a rut, that his standards will deteriorate through familiarity with his surroundings, that every little while he invites friends to go all through his establishment in order to get the advantage of their fresh impressions, their criticisms and suggestions. The salesman should always remember that he has an opportunity to pick up a great many new, progressive ideas which customers who are closely confined to their business or who do not have the time to go about much would not be likely to know about, and he can render them as well as himself a very great service by keeping them posted and up to date. Traveling salesmen are also traveling business teachers. I know of no one quality which will help a salesman so much as an obliging spirit, the desire to be helpful, to accommodate and to assist buyers. Large jobbing concerns are finding that it is to their own interest to look after the interests of their customers, to aid them in every possible way, such as suggesting attractive ways of advertising, giving them new ideas and suggestions as to the best arrangement of their merchandise, and advising them on other important points. Many large concerns aid their customers financially. Mr. H.N. Higginbottom, Marshall Field's well-known credit man, was noted for helping customers, especially when they were financially embarrassed. He often assisted them to get mortgages and loans, and in fact frequently made personal loans to the customers of his house. Of course, affairs of this sort must go to the credit man. But at the same time, a salesman often leads up to them and thus relieves the embarrassment of customers. Some time ago, a manager of a large concern told me that he helped a customer to get a $30,000 mortgage on his property. An accommodation he was not able to get at the bank on a strictly business basis. Many small houses, especially in the West, have come to look upon the jobbing and wholesale houses they trade with as real friends. And whenever they are hard pushed for money, they are the first places they go to for help. Hundreds of Western concerns, through the initiative of the salesmen, owe their prosperity today to the assistance of the jobbing house which carried them through hard times, when they could not have secured the ready cash they needed upon purely business grounds. Firms accommodated through the efforts of a salesman become life customers and a perpetual advertisement for the concern which has helped them, always saying a good word for it whenever possible. There are 101 small ways in which both wholesale and retail salesmen can accommodate their trade. Be alert to all these trifling personal favors, which mean so much and cost only a little thoughtfulness. A word of caution in regard to promises. Guard carefully against making promises you cannot fulfill. In your zeal to help the customer, do not, for instance, promise deliveries that are next to impossible or very hard for your house. You thereby hurt yourself, your customer, and your firm. Be accommodating, but always use common sense. Your customer may forget a lot of things which you say to him, but he will not forget how you spent your time and energy in trying to show him that which would be a real benefit to him. Your effort to give him new ideas, to show him how he could be a little more up to date. You're explaining to him how other progressive men in his own line were doing things. There is nothing which makes a better impression on a man or woman than the unselfish effort to please, to be of service, and the demand for salesmen and all sorts of employees who will put themselves out to do this is constantly growing. There was a time when human hogs could do business, provided they had the goods and could deliver them. But all this has changed. Today, the art of getting on in the world is largely the art of pleasing. Well, thank you for watching chapter 14. I will continue next video with chapter 15, closing the deal. Thank you again. Check out my newskin.nl website. I'm the brand affiliate for my new skin products. check it out, join my team, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and keep in touch.